Well, you can turn yourself into a pretty girl, take your fit pics and sell them. Before we start this video, I have several rules that will be applied to how I'm going to rank all of these abilities. First of all, we are going to be extremely realistic, as realistic as possible, meaning that in real life, if you had at least one of these abilities, probably you would really be interesting to many people and also to the government, meaning that government will try to hunt you down and will do some experiments on you. So this is the level of realism we're going into, and I'm going to rank these abilities by how applicable they are to a normal human being. First of all, Rasengan, and not just Rasengan, but any type of Rasengan, which is Rasen Shuriken, Planetary Rasengan, or any other elemental Rasengan, doesn't matter. To be honest, Rasengan, it is D tier. It is D tier. I know it's probably one of your favorite abilities in all of manga, but I don't care. I just don't care. Because Rasengan, how could you use it in real life? It is too destructive. You couldn't even defend yourself with it because it's too destructive. You're just going to end up killing the other person. The only way I see how you could use Rasengan is in wars, where you literally have to kill people. But since we're talking about day-to-day normal person like yourself, I don't think this is going to be very useful to many of you. Therefore, it's D tier. Why it's not F tier? Because, well, there is still some use for this technique, and it is not bad to have it, right? It's just not useful. Next, we're going to have transformation technique. Transformation technique, honestly, it is B tier. And the reason why it is B tier is because, well, with transformation technique, you essentially can impersonate anyone. This is great for, well, for spies for sure. If you work as, let's say, as a Russian spy in America, that would have been great for you. To get any information, you can impersonate yourself as some authority to get into the place you should not be in. If you're just a normal person, you probably can, well, let's say, get laid, because with your this is not realistic. But if you can transform yourself into Henry Cavill, well, any opens up. So, it is B tier. Why is it not A tier? Because if you're an honest citizen, you don't really going to find many uses for it. But it is definitely a mischievous ability that is very fun to have, and you could definitely find some uses for it, although it isn't really an honest ability. And one branch of this ability is what is called sexy technique. And sexy technique is also B tier, because, I mean, think about it. One way to make use of this technique is to make money through selling your pictures. Let's say that you are a guy and let's say that you want to make a quick buck. Well, you can turn yourself into a pretty girl, take your fit pics and sell them. Essentially, this technique is the same as transformation technique. It's just you use the transformation technique to become a very pretty, attractive guy or girl. Next in the list, we have summoning technique. First, let me say that we are not going to be summoning huge frogs, right? We are going to summoning a normal frogs, like the frogs that actually exist in the world. Let's just say you can summon any frog. Well, then it is actually A tier, and let me explain why. So that's where it's, let's not say it's A tier, let's say it's B tier, since pretty much making money is all we can do with it. Now, we are going to talk about the modes, you know, the Barian mode, the Sage mode, the Kurama shit mode. Well, this is actually going to be A tier. Because all of these modes, one thing they have in common is that they enhance your energy, they enhance your powers, they enhance your natural abilities. So you become almost like a superhuman. Not a superman, but a superhuman. You will be faster, you will be stronger, you will have more energy. And in all of that, well, it's just cool to have it. It is definitely useful to be the better version of yourself. The more healthy, the stronger, the faster version of yourself. Now, why is it not S tier? Because it has this weird looks onto it. So you will be looking different, right? And this is something that people can notice. And if they notice, they're definitely going to be varying reactions to it. For example, again, government will try to abduct you, while ordinary citizens will think that you are a god. Well, you can play on that role and say, yes, I am actually son of the god, and start your new religion. But generally, a lot of problems with government and science. And another thing that I want to touch on specifically is what is called Gododama, these 6 orbs that surround Naruto. It is one of the techniques that come with the 6-pass mode, but I just want to talk about it separately because on its own, having these orbs is actually OP. You essentially become a mini version of Magneto, and you are able to shape these orbs in any way you want. They levitate, meaning that you can use them to grab objects from afar. You can definitely use them defensively, offensively, if, I don't know, if someone tries to mob you. For example, in London, someone's trying to stab you. Well, not today, because if you have at least one of these orbs, you're golden, you're good to go. But I don't think it's A, actually. I think it's probably B tier, because still it is a weird ability that people will notice, but just because you can shape those orbs in pretty much any form you want, this is actually still A tier, man. You just have to trust your fantasy, trust your imagination, and you will be good. The next one in the list is what is called Tori Seal. Basically what you can do with it is you can seal animals, such as big nine-tailed foxes. And you seal it, and you can use the seal to also drain their chakra and use it. So basically you seal them and you use their energy. In this case, if you really think about it, this is an amazing defensive technique. Because anytime someone's trying to punch you in the face, you can use this seal, and then you're not only going to be sealing them, but you're also going to be eating on their energy. And you can even go further and use it in a very interesting way. You go to a forest and you find a bear, you know? You don't want to find a man though, you want to find a bear. And you find a bear, you're going to seal the bear to use its energy. The bear energy, you know? It probably has more energy than you do, so that will kinda enhance you. Therefore, this shit is B tier. Next, Naruto actually has pretty good regeneration. You can see it in some episodes where Naruto regenerates just like in front of your eyes, and this is always A tier. You want to live longer, you want to be less invincible, it's just good. What can I say? It's just good. And the next in the list, ladies and gentlemen, the next technique is one of the best techniques ever made in any manga or anime history. It is 1000 years of death. And this technique is straight out S tier. I don't think you even need to know why. I just know that you agree. You don't have any other choice. This is true. This technique is just undefeatable. You cannot defeat it. Next one is Naruto flying. You know that towards the end of Shippuden he started just flying? Well, that gotta be C tier. Why? Because it's too visible. If you fly in real life, people are going to notice and you are going to get a really weird looks. I don't know what that can lead to, but it's definitely not going to be a scenario with Superman, since you're not superhuman, you just can't fly. It is great for traveling, but really, are you going to be traveling looking weird, you know, looking scared just to make sure people don't see you? I don't think so. Flying is good. Maybe it's even B tier, but I'm going to put it into C tier because flying by itself, it is a little bit tricky to use. Next one on the list is Adamantine Fist. Well, Adamantine Fist is essentially a very strong punching power because all he does is he concentrates all the chakra onto his fist and he punches really hard. This is actually going to be better than Rasengan because it's not as destructive as Rasengan. It's still very strong and you can use it in real life. You basically become Nagano, you become Deontay Wilder. And maybe even stronger than them. It is going to be insane. You're going to become one of the best boxers or any punching combat sport competitor. So I gotta put it into B tier. Next one. You probably waited for this one for a very long time. This is Shadow Clones. And should I even tell you that this is an instant S tier? Just think about all the applications in real life for this jutsu. If I could have any technique, any power from any fiction ever, this would be my go-to choice. Shadow clones are unparalleled when it comes to the real-life application. So, if you remember, you don't just produce clones, those clones transfer memory back once they despawn, meaning that you can have, let's say, 10 different clones doing 10 different things at the same time. Maybe one is going to go to the college, another one is going to go to some martial arts class. Another one is just going to go and approach girls so that you don't have to. Another one can go and prepare food. Another one can go and do many kind of things. Essentially, what you are going to be doing at that time, you're just going to be chilling at your home, playing video games. And once all of those clones despawn at the end of the day, you have a lot of information. You have new knowledge, new skills. Isn't it amazing? Just think about it. You can have a clone to talk to you. You can have friends now. There are so many applications in real life. Let's say if you want to cheat in an exam, you leave several clones at home that are going to be looking at cheat sheets, right? They're going to be looking at the books that you needed to study but you didn't. And then you yourself, you and your clone actually, are going to go to the exam room. You're actually going to send your clone there and you yourself going to hide inside of a bathroom. The clone is going to look at all the questions, study them correctly, memorize them. He will go back to you in the bathroom. He will despawn there, meaning that all the knowledge is going to be shared between you and your clones. And the clones at the home, they're going to be looking at the appropriate answers and finding them, memorizing them, and despawning. This way, you go back to the classroom or the examination room and you're just going to write what you just memorized. Just one of the applications. There are so many ways to use it. It's just OP. And for the end, we have Naruto's most strongest jutsu, with which he defeated a lot of villains. It is Tokno Jutsu. And this is an instant S tier. Just think about it. If you can convince anyone to do anything, even like if you could convince Hitler to stop World War II, wouldn't that be amazing? That's what he did in the anime. You can convince Putin. You go to Russia, he beats you up, you are almost on the brink of death, right? You're going to die. But no, because you have a trump card. A last resort, it is Tokno Jutsu. You're going to talk Putin out of the war. This has to cost something. And it costs S tier. This is it for today's video. And if you like this format, then you can watch this video. I don't know where it is. It is somewhere here. And see you there.